Let me show you how React application actually works in the simplest way. I have opened the standalone application as my first app. As a beginner, let's start from scratch. So first of all, we are going to remove the SRC folder from here as that. Delete that and our application will crash. Don't worry, we are going to fix it. Well, the next step is that we have to create the SRC folder. In case you are familiar with React, as soon as you create React application, you don't have to delete the SRC folder. But since we are getting started, that is why I have removed that. In this way, you see the process involved how to run or create React applications. At the moment, we are going to have two files. One file is going to be index.js. Make sure to type as it is, otherwise it will not work. The purpose for this file is that we are going to select the HTML element, in this case inside the HTML here that is public. Over here, we have only one element with the ID called root, which is this. It means that this is where all other components or pages are going to be placed. Alright, so here we are going to add them dynamically. Therefore, we are going to select this particular ID and use what is called React DOM to be able to inject all the future pages or components. Let's get back to the index.js. Over here, we are going to import what is called React from React. Remember, after installing, we have this one as a module inside the node-modules. If you look inside, we're going to see React being installed, which is this one. We are also going to require React DOM. So here we have already required the React. The next one is going to be the React-DOM/client. And what we want is called the React DOM. As that, make sure to type as it is. The purpose for these modules are going to help us to be able to select the ID of this and then to be able to inject dynamic content inside this particular div. So let's continue. So here I will say select the div or select the div to inject dynamic content. So here we're going to use what is called root, which is equal to React DOM.createRoot, and then pass in the selection. So here we're going to select as document.getElementById, and the ID here is called root. So it means that we're going to select only one element when dealing with React. When building traditional applications, unless we select the individual divs or elements to be able to use JavaScript to interact with. Again, if you have taken my full stack course under JavaScript, you saw how we spent our time to talk about selections. Alright, so let's continue. The ID here is called root. So now we have the root being selected. So now on the root, we're going to use what is called render. What do we want to render? We want to render the HTML or the component. And here as a function call, and then bring in the React. On that, we have what is called strict mode. And then inside, we're going to place our component. Don't worry, we have a section to talk about component. So now we have the first file called index. Let me collapse the node modules. The next file is called a component. And a component must begin with uppercase for the first letter. So here I will say app.js. Don't worry, we have a section to talk about component. In a simple term, a component is a normal function that's going to return JSX or HTML, and that is it. In JavaScript, a function must return a value, but in React, it is called component. And this component is going to return HTML that's going to be displayed. So in a simple term, you can regard a component as HTML pages. For example, if you are building a portfolio website or a website for a company, you're going to have about us, contact us, and the rest. About us is called the HTML in traditional applications, but in React, we call it as component. And you must name it as this. That is, the first letter must be uppercase. So here we are going to create our function. And it goes like this: const, you can use arrow function or normal function. And here make sure to name the first letter as uppercase, which is called up. And for this, I'm going to use arrow function as that. And here we are going to return what is called JSX. Don't worry, we have a video to talk about JSX. In a simple term, it means HTML. So here I can return any HTML, either h1, div, p tag, a tag, or the rest. So here I'm going to return h1, and I will say this is my first React application. And the next step is that you have to export this component, or let me call this one as traditionally it is equal to HTML page, but in React it is called component. Alright, so here export default, and then the name is called app, meaning that we are going to use this component. So in the index.js, this is where we are going to use that component, and this is how we use component. First of all, let's import as app. And I have the auto import, which is this one. And in here, to be able to use that, bring in the angle bracket, and then app, and then closing as that. And that is it. With this one, let's see the application, and now React is happy. As you can see how React actually works. With these two files that we added, we can run React application. At this point, in case you are confused, don't worry, just understand how the index works, meaning the purpose for the index.js, the app, and then the HTML inside here. So it means that we can even remove these guys from here like that, and let's have clean code to work with. Likewise this, and also this one. And React will be happy, as you can see on the screen. If we check our terminal, there is no error. It means that React is happy. Awesome, right? Let's continue in the next video.